If you don't believe you can add any value to a client, you probably just wouldn't start. You have an idea for a platform. How could you, in 2 minutes, draw it out on the whiteboard and make it a little bit more alive?
So the entire Build Lab is a process that happens literally in 24 hours. So our students have their first encounter with the partners over a dinner, which is really more of a rapport building exercise with it, but also just getting to start to collect initial information from the partners. They then have an afternoon after they've understood what Build as a framework is and the research and pedagogy that comes behind it.
What was their problem that you identified? What was your solution that you pitched to them, which you'll somehow show as the prototype, right? And sort of what's the way forward? At some point tomorrow morning, you should have some prototype that you could share with the client to use to get feedback on.
We are going to see how we can assist on how they can have like sustainable way of making income.
Then we spend a lot more time working and fleshing it out. We're able to present at the end of the day a solution.
We are consulting for the Africa Leadership University, the undergraduate program, and trying to understand how we can support the school to increasing the students' number, especially the fee-paying students.
I have a passion for construction, and I guess for me I've always just thought of construction as just building, but when I saw that profile, it's actually a drive to have an integrated approach to healing.
And what we really want them to do is to help us figure out how do we leverage that concept and how do we take it forward.
The experience working with ALUSB has been extremely interesting but also very challenging because it means going into an organization in an industry that you know nothing about, meeting new people, working with a team that you've never worked with, and having to try and solve some fairly complex problems in a very short space of time.
Some of the things that we learn in class, we think it's purely theoretical. I came to realize how much the organization needed on the ground to be able to actually even just function.
And the question we asked the motions team was, where do we go from there? How can we start from their growth so far and even add more value and get them to grow faster in their revenues?
So the Build Lab is probably the one experiential place where they really have to interrogate what it means for me at an individual level to be a leader, but to then also be a leader who has impact beyond myself.
You don't understand the holistic concept of the business, so you need the upper hands to help you build the process along.
We will communicate with you and commit to communicating with you once a quarter virtually to assist you. And a long-term strategy would be implementing things like Salesforce, which would require training from your staff.
In 24 hours, really, we've been able to move from knowing nothing about our clients in a sector to being innovative and producing solutions that can be applied and invested in immediately.
Our students are at some of the top minds in the continent.
They're amazing. So much beyond what I even could have expected.
We are committed to at least staying in touch with them for the next 12 months, just to see how they get on with the progress.
I would encourage different other companies to get to know more about the ALU Build Labs and partner with ALU Build Labs, because this is a good opportunity in Northwest.